Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Nick Cage Fight podcast, where we're talking about Cage and we're feeling just fine. And we gotta be down because we watched them all. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Rich and Ryan. How are we feeling, guys?
I feel like I could go for a dry martini, and I'm a little bit mad at myself. I didn't rack one up before this.
I'm gonna go with mostly sad after this movie.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
that is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife actually tapped out of watching this. She's like, I thought this was going to be funny. I was like, why did you think
No.
that?
Yeah.
When was the tap out? Because I'll tell you, when I tapped out and had to go back about 15 minutes later, and it was when Elizabeth Shue was sitting in the shower.
No,
Yeah.
she did not even make it to that scene. She tapped out after like the first encounter with Yuri being violent.
Hmm.
So early.
Yeah.
Very early. Yeah, she's like, this is just sad. I don't want to watch this. It's like, all right. Well, I have to. This, of course, being Leaving Las Vegas, the film we are here to discuss today, a 1995 R-rated film clocking in at a smooth hour 51 minutes, a little bit outside our preferred target range, but it is fine if you're making a film like this. Um,
Sometimes it's art.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's art. But let's get right into housekeeping. So, first up, we have the director, Mike Figgis, who directed Internal Affairs, Flamenco Women, which was a documentary, Time Code, Cold Creek Manor. Um, he did also direct an episode of The Sopranos, Rich. And I looked into it so I could explain exactly which episode. He
I know which
directed
episode it is.
Cold Cuts, where Buscemi and Imperioli go to dig up the bones at their like weird uncle's house
Yep.
because they're selling the property. And he also directed Suspension of Disbelief, among others. Um, so on to writers, we have Mike Figgis again, who has written a number of things, including a number of things that he's directed. But he wrote One Night Stand, Time Code, Suspension of Disbelief, Hotel, Stormy Monday. And then we have John O'Brien as the second writer, who wrote Leaving Las Vegas, and as far as I can tell, one other thing, which was an episode of Rugrats under a pseudonym of
Forgot about that.
Carol Mine.
Yep.
The episode was Toys in the Attic, in case you're really weirdly interested.
Which was one of the more like serious episodes. It was like one of the episodes that dug into like their heritage.
Yeah, the kids have to stay with the grandparents, like not the grandparent, the granddad that lives with them, like the mother's grandparents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boris and
vaguely remember.
Minka, if I remember correctly.
Um, but yeah, I
He
thought,
he also did do a few other books that were like not finished that his sister finished in like 2009.
oh, okay, did not know that. So
Yeah,
moving
what were they? Stripper lessons and the assault on Tony's.
like Tony's, like people named Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't
Not
know there
not the
was an
like
assault.
musical theater award ceremony, right?
That's like
Correct.
the attack on Oscars. It was like,
God,
wait.
that would be so cool. Holy shit. My God. Fuck. Damn it.
And
Oh my God. Shit, we gotta
and
write that.
and John O'Brien's father said that Leaving Las Vegas, the book, was essentially his suicide note.
Yeesh. It's
Yeah, just
bleak.
wanted to bring that down a little bit.
The whole movie is bleak. So if you're listening, we'll warn you right now before we even get into the cast. This is a bleak fucking film. No feel good moments really.
There is not a
Um,
happy ending.
No.
no, not at all. Um, but while we're here, the cast, first up, as always, we have Nick Cage as Ben Sanderson. Next up, we have Elizabeth Shue as Sarah, who was in the original Karate Kid, Cocktail, Back to the Futures 2 and 3, The Saint, City of Angels is an uncredited pregnant woman.
Shame.
Hollow Man.
Also shame. That is Paul Verhoeven's worst movie. It's worse than Showgirls by a country mile.
Hide and Seek. And more recently, The Boys.
The
Why
one
did
I
I-
always remember her from is Hamlet 2, where she plays Elizabeth Shue.
That's
Why
funny.
did I think that she was in The Breakfast Club?
I don't know.
Why did my brain tell me that?
Yeah, I don't think I would have missed The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, if either of you have not seen Hamlet 2, do it. It's very good.
I have to check it out.
It's about a high school drama club doing Hamlet 2.
Nice.
I've seen it, but it has been years.
It's got Steve Coogan. It's great.
Yeah.
So next up, we have two doozies in a row. Since they're no longer with us, we first have Julian Sands as Yuri. Julian Sands has been in a bunch of shit, including a bunch of Figgis work. So he was in A Room with a View, Warlock, Naked Lunch, Suspension of Disbelief, Star Wars: The Old Republic video game. I just had to throw that in there.
Dope.
Ocean's
And Warlock fucking rules too.
Yeah.
For our listening public.
Ocean's 13. He was in like every Figgis film, it looks like, including Time Code, and Hotel, and One Night Stand. He was a go-to for Figgis.
And he's in one episode of this weird Adult Swim show called NTSF SD SUV. That's like a fucking fake police procedural show. Yeah, he plays a doctor in one episode of that.
Nice. That's crazy. I actually saw a couple of episodes. Excuse me of that.
I liked it. Yeah. The live action Adult Swim stuff is fun.
They did some really interesting things over the years. Next up, we have Richard Lewis as Peter.
I can do this one. He was Prince John in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and that's it. He's never been in another thing ever. Not even this movie.
Now that's crazy because he was in Sandy Wexler. He was in so much TV, including the Larry Sanders Show, Daddy Dearest, Tales from the Crypt, Dr. Katz, Curb Your Enthusiasm, a lot, and BoJack Horseman, and perhaps my favorite entry, he was in the Limp Bizkit Break Stuff music video.
That I did not know.
That's pretty wild.
I thought you guys might like that. And our new metal fan listeners might also appreciate it. Next up, I have Steven Weber as Mark Nussbaum, who was in Single White Female, Dracula Dead and Loving It, Time Code, and then a bunch of TV as well, including, and I just got to name a bunch of shows that I actually liked and have watched, starting with Party Down, Wilfred, iZombie, Happy Town, Wings, a number of things. We have Emily Proctor as Debbie, who was in Jerry Maguire, Family Plan, Body Shots, and Big Mama's House 2. And then last up is my favorite entry on this list is French Stewart is in this movie as businessman number 2. French Stewart, notable from Third Rock from the Sun primarily, but he was also in Stargate and Broken Arrow.
All right, I guess I got a few.
Yeah, I have one, definitely.
Yeah, we got R. Lee Ermey, who you may know as the drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket. He plays somebody at like a convention that gets prostituted. Or asked if he wants to do a fuck.
I did not recognize him in that.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. He passed away recently too, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think like 6 years ago.
I
the one
thought it was more recent.
The one I have is Michael Gorgon.
I was gonna bring him up too, yeah.
Who listeners probably know as Heroin Bob from that movie that is, you watch it today and it's fucking terrible, SLC Punk.
Oh,
the second one's even worse, baby.
I saw the second one. It's so bad.
So bad.
But like, it's one of those movies that I watched like not super recently, like 10 years ago, and was just like, man, teenage me was dumb. This movie sucks.
SLC Punk was, first of all, will not stand for Matthew Lillard slander on this podcast.
No. The cast was ridiculous.
Yeah, the cast is good. The
was
story
so
is
good. Jason Segel is in that movie.
But I will say that was and this list. Well, there's only. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's several movies on this list. The list of movies that got passed around in my like high school friend group that were like must watches for the friend group were every Kevin Smith movie, Fight Club, and SLC Punk.
Okay, so he went to high school in New Jersey. Like
Yeah.
that's
I'm surprised Boondock Saints wasn't up in there.
Oh no! Boondock Saints was
There you
100%
go.
on that list.
yeah, Boondock Saints and also Pulp Fiction.
All right, I got two more before we go out of housekeeping, though.
But also, I don't remember who he played, but now looking back at it, I think that he was the frat boy with
He
autism.
was the frat boy with autism. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The other two that I've got are musicians. We've got Julian Lennon, who you may know as John Lennon's son. Nothing else. He plays a bartender in a biker bar. And then we got Lou Rawls, who you may know as one of the coolest voices in all of soul music.
Oh,
and he plays a cabbie.
Oh, he was like the nicest bartender ever. Like when the dude goes to like hit his wife, he just catches his wife and then puts him down. And then when Nick Cage gets headbutt, he's just like, "Sorry, I got to ask you to leave." That's what happens after.
That's Julian Lennon. Yeah.
That's wild. Good catches. All right, and we have wrapped housekeeping remarkably early for us because we haven't even hit an ad break yet. So, that means we can dive right on into
this fucking movie.
Yeah. So, I will say there are some fun scenes, individual scenes, and it opens on that, which is opening on Nick Cage's character Ben dancing down the aisle of a liquor store and just grabbing an entire shopping cart full of booze, which is a fun scene with dark implications.
Yes.
But he seems to be having fun. And then we cut to like a fancy business dinner that Ben kind of crashes by stumbling up to a table. And everybody looks really uncomfortable, but Peter, played by Richard Lewis, appears to be kind of friends with Ben and steps away to talk to him. And Ben hits him up for cash, which Peter hands over, but asks him politely not to drink it in this restaurant, and also asks Ben not to contact him anymore. It's played very well. Richard Lewis should have been in more of the movie, but the part that we got was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
So Ben immediately goes to a different bar and starts drinking and hitting on a woman, which it starts off hilarious, but he's clearly like stepping over that line into belligerency. And the bartender then has to intervene. And then he goes full pathetic with like, "Come back to my house with me," to the lady, and she's like, "No, you seem like an alcoholic and you should probably cut back on this." And he's like, "Ah." So he's then driving home drinking directly from a bottle of vodka, which he quickly puts down as a motorcycle cop pulls up alongside of him. And then as soon as the cop passes him, he goes right back to drinking it.
That was a very fun scene because the cop lingers for like literally 25 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like just looking at him, looking at the road, looking at him, looking at the road, looking at him, looking at the road. And you're just like, what's going to happen? And then it's like nothing. The cop just speeds off and he just starts downing vodka again.
That's wild. The movie does do a really good job of like starting off with like a funny scene and then immediately being like, "No, this isn't cute or fun. This dude has a real fucking problem."
Yeah.
Yeah, it does straddle that line. A lot of like scenes to kind of get a chuckle, and then it just immediately kicks you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, like him being told you really shouldn't drink and drive a little later is just that gets a chuckle out of me.
Yeah.
It's a sad chuckle, but it does get a chuckle.
He then ends up at like some sort of jazz burlesque club. There's like a lady stripping, but there's a live band.
See, Why don't we have that around here? I'd be there every night.
Strip joints with live
With
bands. I
live
don't think they
bands,
usually
yeah.
bring in the kind of money that justifies that output on entertainment. I mean, I guess unless you get the jazz band like hooked on drugs too. You know what I mean?
Look, all I'm saying is the week I was in Portland, Oregon, I went to like 3 different strip clubs that had live bands.
Well, that's fucking Portland.
Yeah, they have the highest per capita amount of strip clubs in the entire nation.
Well, I didn't know that. I was just saying that Portland is hipsterish, and that
No,
is seems
it's
like a
just
real hipster way to run a strip club.
they have a shit ton of strip clubs out there.
That's wild. I wouldn't expect that.
One of them was just like a cabaret, like it wasn't a full-on strip club. So
Yeah.
like, yeah. But the other 2 were just straight up strip clubs. Full
Yeah.
nude, baby.
Like the cabarets and like the speakeasy shit, like I get that making the rounds again as being,
Yeah, we're in the
moderately
20s
fashionable.
again.
Yeah. I get that to a certain extent, but like just a full-on strip club with a live band seems bonkers.
Yeah, like not even playing jazz, like playing fucking Warrant, Wasp, Winger, Whitesnake, the Holy Quadrinity, the fucking the hair metal '80s W bands.
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
Like, there's 2 things that haven't moved out of 1980s music, and that's strip clubs and hockey games, and I don't understand why.
It's because Cherry Pie is a banger.
Like,
That's
if
the answer to both of those.
if you go to a professional hockey game today, you will hear the same music you heard if you went to a professional hockey game in 1996.
That's so
It's
cool.
going to be Welcome to the Jungle,
Well,
Fuel by Metallica, Machine Head by Bush.
Okay, those 2 songs came out in the '90s, though.
Well, yeah, but still, it's like it
There's-
hasn't changed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like if you go to a strip club, you're going to hear Crazy Bitch.
you gotta hear Crazy.
You got to hear
Bitch.
Crazy Bitch.
that is kind of an indictment of the times that song was as popular as that song was. That's insane to me. Anyway, no, I'm sorry. I got completely distracted just imagining every scene filmed in the Bada Bing in The Sopranos, but they have a live band performing the music.
Seems dope, actually.
It seems insane. It's a fun bit, but I don't think it's a profitable business. Yeah, in my notes here, I put it looks like Ben is drinking what appears to be a life-ending amount of liquor, and I'm like 5 minutes into this movie. So Ben cruises and picks up a sex worker. He is completely blackout at this point. He wakes up in his apartment on his kitchen floor, remembering that the prostitute he hired pulled his wedding ring off of his hand when they were together, and just sort of breezes right by that fact.
So, just very quick because it was very funny when I read this. So when they made this movie, they wanted Elizabeth Shue and Nick Cage to like go and kind of do their own research. So Elizabeth Shue does what a normal person would do and like goes to Las Vegas and like interviews a bunch of sex workers and to get in the mindset. Do you know what Nick Cage did?
He binge drank for like a week in Scotland.
2 weeks in Dublin, Ireland, baby.
Jesus. Oh, okay, it was Ireland and it was 2 weeks. Got 2 things wrong, but I knew he went out drinking.
That's
and
Irish
had his
slander.
And basically had his friend record him the whole time so that he knew what he would sound like when he was drinking too much, so he could reenact the slur, like the slurring of his words and stuff, not the racial
The
slurs.
slurs he shouted when he was
Slurs.
drunk.
Yeah.
It's all slurs against the Irish.
Yeah, I was gonna say the video is just him getting absolutely demolished by a bunch of angry Irish lads. That's wild. That's wild that Cage is like, for this, I'm gonna go to the island where they invented drunks and learn at the feet of the masters. That's crazy. So the next day he goes to cash a check, and this is where we get like the movie just fucking piles on with how bad drinking this much is, which is terrible because it looks so cool.
It does
But
look
they hit
really
you with
cool.
they hit you with all the this is not cool shit. And you know what else they hit you with? Ad breaks. That's right. You weren't expecting it, but it came out of nowhere. Ad breaks. They're also not cool. So
Doing
maybe
an
go to our
ad break,
Patreon.
doing an ad break during this movie just feels dirty.
It's gonna be for Kirkland brand vodka.
Oh
How
God,
does
I
it?
hope so.
I
Hey,
really hope it's for
Kirkland's
beer.
rum, pretty good.
Have you guys seen the Kenneth Kirkland series where a guy is just determined to compare Kirkland's to a bunch of other stuff and
No,
see
I have
if
not.
Kirkland
No.
stands up? It's a funny series, but also weirdly enough, somebody sent an article to me the other day. Apparently, Kirkland brand golf clubs are so good that they might be getting sued by the golf brand that they ripped off
Oh,
to
that's
make the
awesome.
clubs.
Good for them.
Yeah, I will say this
Anyway,
about the Kirkland brand rum. It only comes in a life-ending amount.
well, that's the best amount. You
You
only have
can't
to buy
buy
one.
less than enough to kill yourself.
All right, we delayed enough. Listen to some ads. Those were some good ads. Kirkland brand rum. It'll make you look cool.
It'll make you
It'll
Uh,
make
blind.
it'll make you blind in one eye, like a pirate.
Kirkland brand rum. Better than Sterno. Uh, sorry. So, uh, we're at the scene where Ben is trying to cash his check at a bank, but he's detoxing way too hard. He is sweating and shaking. He can't sign the check even. He's having real problems. So uh while in crisis, he does what every right thinking person does, and he goes to a bar and starts drinking again. That's a joke. We don't endorse drinking yourself to death. No matter how many jokes we make about that during the course of this episode.
Let's say I don't know. I might.
It was like we all gotta go, you know what I mean? So anyway, like I said, despite the number of jokes, we don't necessarily advocate that. Um, so the bartender even tries to talk him out of it. He has like a real like, come on, man. Like you keep drinking like this, you're gonna die. And I think Ben just barely avoids the Blazing Saddles joke. Where he's like, when? Um, but Ben does not appreciate it, backs the bartender off, and I got to admit, a real G move from the bartender. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. This one's on me, and puts a free drink in front of him. That is a big fuck you from a service worker.
Yeah.
That's rough,
Maybe I
dude.
won't have to deal with you anymore.
Yeah, that one got me. I don't know why that one specifically. I was like, ooh,
Is this
that's
the guy who was like, it's 11 a.m. This is all I'm gonna give you, and then you have to leave?
well, no, like it wasn't like this is all I'm gonna
There's
give you
so
yet.
many zingers. I don't. I
Yeah, he tries to talk him out of it. He's like, listen, he's like, I'll pour you another one, but you should probably knock it off. It's 11
Yeah.
o'clock. Like this is clearly a problem. And Ben's like, why don't you go fuck yourself? And he's like, you know what? This one's on me, guy. Have fucking fun. Um, so Ben goes back to the bank and he's in line. And this was a scene that made me laugh, but again, it's still really dark. He starts talking into a tape recorder. He's like a writer of some sort.
He's a screenwriter.
Yeah.
yeah.
And he just starts just like the most raunchy prose into this tape recorder in a full line with people behind him just like bug-eyed staring at him.
But like he's doing it like a very like smooth operator kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like he's drunk, he's confident, he's good to go.
The scene is funny, but I could also like I chuckled watching it, but I was also like I'd be so uncomfortable if this happened to me in public.
Oh
Like being
yeah.
around somebody doing that. He hits on the teller, he signs his check, he invites her to dinner. And she does not look pleased with his shtick at all. So I don't think she took him up on that.
No, I don't think
Um,
so.
And then we cut to Ben in an office. He's talking in his like into an office phone, but holding it upside down, which is insane. He's got like books scattered across his like binders scattered across the entirety of his desk.
So
Um,
just so you know, because I would actually do that when I worked debt collections. It's so you don't respond to whatever the other person is saying. It's if like you have to get something out. It's so you don't have a response to anything that they say.
oh, that would drive me fucking crazy. How is that an effective sales tactic?
I mean, it's not sales, it's harassment.
Yeah.
That's what debt collection is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I went straight to sales with debt collecting. Oh, sorry. I'm too used to making money moves. If a debt collector calls me, I'm like, all right, well, how much will you take?
Yeah.
Let's make a deal here. How about 7 cents on the dollar? You had to have bought it for less than that. I'm clearly uncollectible. Um, yeah, no, that's fucking crazy. Also, debt collecting, like, don't you just need to get them to confirm? Like, it's like a process server. As soon as like they confirm they're them, you're like, all right, hit their fucking credit score and just start sending mail to them incessantly.
Nah, you make like phone calls because you want to like collect on it.
Did that ever work?
Yeah.
Really?
My
You're
collection rate was
probably
like
the elderly,
90%.
right?
All right. First of all, when the revolution comes, Rich, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do some time.
Yeah, I know. I
You
know.
won't be first against the wall, but you're going against that
No,
wall.
yeah, a little re-education for should 90% collection rate. That's insane.
Yeah, I know.
Um, no, that's okay.
Well,
Uh,
it was like first party collections. It was like, if you pay your American Express 3 days late, you get someone calling you who's like all like
Oh, okay.
oh, that's
nice, like
Yeah,
different.
that's
That's
totally
different.
different.
You're not defaulted at that point. That's
I
yeah,
was
that's
doing it for a timeshare. So I mean it's still
Oh,
dirty.
oh, back in the camp, back in the
whoa,
re-education
get in the
camp.
cage. We'll fight you.
Fucking timeshare, man.
Yep.
God damn. Ah, I completely lost my train of thought. Now I'm stuck on calling for payments for timeshares. Jesus. Um, but yeah, so Ben's assistant comes in and he's overly flirty with her too. I do have to admit, as much as we clowned on Cage's process here, he does do the I'm drunk all the time, but maintaining, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
trying to maintain at least bit because she seems halfway charmed by him. So I feel like his booze level while he's working, he was at least regulating a tiny bit. Not enough though.
You got to do the Mr. Leahy from Trailer Park Boys, where you've got the breathalyzer, and you're like, I dropped down 2 points. Time for a little drinky poo.
Yeah, yeah. Time for a little sip.
Yeah, he knew
I'm
exactly where his sweet
sober.
spot was.
Yeah, I'm sober enough to do what I have to do, and I'm drunk enough to enjoy doing it. But yeah, no, but clearly Ben is not maintaining well enough because he basically gets called into his boss's office and they're like, "We gotta let you go." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's a shame." And the boss is like, "You get it though, right?" And Ben's like, "Yeah, I fucking I know." Like we all know. And they're like, "Here's a severance check." And Ben's
It's
like,
like a step off from being an I think you should leave sketch, honestly.
it is. It would like it was really well. I have to admit, I'm not a fan of bosses in general, but if I was 100% self-destructing on booze, this is how I would want my boss to let me go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we gotta let you go. And I'm like, oh,
Mm.
like you get it though, right? I'm like, oh no, yeah, no. This as far as business decisions go, I endorse this one.
Yeah, this one's fine.
But they give him a severance check, and I have to admit, like outside of a cartoon, like where somebody looks at the number on a check and sees like dollar signs in their eyes. Nick Cage does a live action version of this, but instead of dollar signs, it's just bottles of hard liquor. Like I guarantee he 100% was like, this is like 300 bottles of liquor. As soon as he looked at it, he knew the conversion rate. Um, very well done, very well acted. So the boss is like, so what are you gonna do now? And Ben's like, I'm moving to Las Vegas, and we get the title card at this
Like
point in the
20
film.
minutes into the
I
movie. I
know.
love it when they do
I
that.
like that too.
Yeah,
We got it in
it was almost
Raising.
shocking.
It's almost as long as Raising Arizona, I think. It might either be like 5 minutes longer or 5 minutes shorter, but it's still a really long time before the title drop.
It's a wonderful stylistic choice. I do like that. And also they made sure like they got through here's the prologue and now the story starts.
Yeah.
You know exactly what the fuck you're dealing with. Um and you do to a certain extent, I guess, but
Well,
it
you
gets
find out the rest of it very quickly.
yeah. And like we were talking about before we started, the I think it's ironic that we landed on it, excuse me, that way. Um, right after the title card, we meet the protagonist of the film. We get introduced to Yuri, played by Julian Sands, and Sarah, played by Elizabeth Shue. First scene after the title card. And Yuri is clearly a pimp, entertaining some businessmen or gangsters or something, and providing them with working
Mamas.
girls. What was that?
Hoochie Mamas is what I heard. Yep,
Yes.
that was right.
Yeah.
I hoochie mamas are recreational, not professional, right?
Oh, I didn't know there was a
I mean,
separation.
I
I'm
thought there
gonna
was.
Google it. I need to know if there is like a quantifiable difference.
Yeah, no, I thought hoochie mamas at best were semi-professional, not actual pros. Um,
Okay. We'll let Ryan get to the bottom
yeah,
of it
yeah,
while we
yeah,
keep
yeah.
talking about
We
the
got to
movie.
Yeah,
research.
no, it's a
our
Hoochie
vernacular.
Mama is a recreational hoe. Yeah.
There we go. There
Okay,
we go.
okay.
I thought so. um,
It's I believe the definition I just pulled was a woman who likes to throw it back.
it just gives me flashbacks to the like Chappelle show, the Jeopardy bit that they did with the one white guy who's like a writer on staff, and they're like,
Yeah.
"What is a chicken head?"
He knew all the answers.
He was really
Yeah.
on point with it. um,
No, I think my favorite part of that sketch is like the is pimping easy. Nobody says no, no. And then like the wet professor's like, well, as Big Daddy Kane would say no. And then the barber comes in. Fuck yeah. Somehow that's correct.
yeah, like all the range of answers are correct given the question. Um, but so yeah, so this is something I wanted to get your guys' perspective on because I wasn't 100% clear on it, and I had a couple of theories, but it's entirely possible that I missed something. So this is where we get the first scene where Sarah is just talking to the camera about herself, her life, and her experiences over the course of the film. What is that?
It's the Big Brother house.
So it's confessional style. I thought
framed
therapy
like a reality TV show. I thought it was the Big Brother house, but that's way too early.
I thought therapy too, Rich. Is that where we're landing on?
That's what I was always landing on, that she's in therapy.
That's probably the most logical explanation.
I figured that she's in therapy and this movie is being shot in the past tense.
Mm. So it's all her flashback of his story, you think?
Yeah, of the things that he told her. Because like one of the things that I kind of realized is Nick Cage before her coming into his life and Nick Cage after are two radically different people. Like when he's drunk with her, he is a sloppy mess. He's getting kicked out of casinos. He's getting into fights. When he is drunk before her, he's the bank guy. He's this smooth operator who's like, okay, I'm ready to sign my check now.
Yeah, he's keeping his shit together, but I think the tipping point is more him getting fired than necessarily meeting her because he starts to get sloppy as soon as he hits Vegas.
Well, here
Yeah.
I think that I think that suicide was always in the cards for him.
I think it was explicitly the idea.
Well, yeah, but I'm
He
just saying
states
is
it.
that yeah, no. But what I'm saying is that I think that the character knew from the first scene that this was the plan. So I don't think there was a tipping off point. I think that we are
Mm-hmm.
getting a point of she only heard these stories. She wasn't there for him. She can only go off of what he said.
So you think
And
that
now
the
we're
like first 20 minutes is through her rose tinted glasses based on what
yes.
he was telling her.
Yes.
See,
Interesting.
And
that's
then this afterwards, when she becomes involved in the movie, that's where we get like the no, this is the real shit that's happening.
that's an interesting perspective because I viewed her throughout the course of the film as the only potential for redemption for pulling the nose of the plane up. Um
But she doesn't
but
do that like at all for him. She enables the shit out of him.
she does, but I think that's supposed to be like part of I thought so when I said I thought this movie was about cynicism and misery loving company, it's about two people who need something and neither of them have what the other one needs. And I think in the case of Elizabeth Shue's character, she needs to be the reason Ben chooses to not drink himself to death.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Ben needs to rewind time 20 years, so that's certainly not possible either. And we see this like collapse happen. But I will say, as far as the confessional video is concerned, I didn't think about this until you guys mentioned the research everybody did in the role or for the role. Um, I think it's kind of an interesting idea that perhaps that was something they landed on after talking to Elizabeth Shue about what she did for her research. Like it's her talking not to a therapist, but somebody asking about, what happened in your life? You did this thing. It's kind of, adjacent to polite society. What are some interesting things? And sort of giving this really emotional and dark story about what happened. I think that's kind of an interesting possibility for those confessional scenes. I don't know. Therapy is what I thought literally until you guys mentioned the research that she did.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's therapy, and I think that this movie is being told in the past tense.
I don't disagree with that, and my option, like my alternate suggestion here, would still it being done in the past tense. Um, but yeah, so uh Sarah talks about how she's good at what she does, and she views it as being like a professional performer, like an actress, which is
Which
actually kind of
fair. Yeah.
another good point to my idea that she's like giving an interview to somebody. Anyway, now I'm gonna be stuck on this fucking theory. Uh so we
I mean,
then
I'd be
see
I mean,
curious to
would
read the book and see what the context is in there, if any. If
Mhm.
this is a filmic flourish, or if this was something explicitly in the text.
Yeah, who
yeah,
knows? Right in. If you're familiar.
I was going to say, will a ad break help you get unstuck from this train of thought? Really bad
It
place for an ad break as we're discussing like the
You know what? I think it'll help in about 5 minutes.
okay.
There we go.
All right.
Um, so then we see her talking to Yuri, and then we see her having sex with Yuri. Kind of solidifying very quickly after the introduction. Yuri is definitely a pimp. And him and Sarah have a previously established professional relationship of some sort. And then we cut to Ben, who's shopping again. He buys this time though a bunch of trash bags and lighter fluid, and then he packs up his entire apartment and starts burning clothes and papers and drinking. He burns his passport as well. And then drives off the next morning with just like a row of trash bags outside of his place. There's a scene here where we get a bunch of cuts um that sort of recap Ben's night, almost like trying to remember what you did the night before when you get too drunk. It happens
Yeah.
after he drives away. And the cuts are well done. It's a good scene that I actually really enjoyed. And we see a picture of Ben with a pretty blonde lady and a young boy, and he had burnt that as well over the course of the night. Um, there is a scene that includes a thing that has part of my Christian name in it. Somewhere in this montage. Just gonna throw that out there as an Easter egg if you can find it. And so we see Ben actually stop to gas up his car. And we see some of Yuri's gangsters like at the station, like some of the people that had been around or were the dudes that he was entertaining the previous night. Which means he must have been at least near Vegas in this scene. I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing.
So, Ben gets to Vegas proper, and actually his first introduction to Sarah is because he's drinking and driving again. He has to stomp on the brakes to avoid hitting her in a crosswalk. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she
Uh,
was yeah, she was like, "Hey, crosswalk here."
yep. And she gives him the finger before walking off. And then he checks into the whole year in, which in his drunken state, he sees the sign read the whole urine
Yeah. Yeah.
is clever. And then there's another ad break for Kirkland brand rum. Kills bugs dead.
Kirkland brand rum. You can clean your wounds with it.
Only
We
if
gotta
it's
get
unspiced.
yeah, we gotta get a Kirkland sponsorship. Do you think we can make that happen? Get
Fuck yeah, I
Mr.
want a
Kirkland
Kirkland
on the phone.
sponsorship. They've got their own brand of beer growlers. I would love to get a bunch of those sent to me.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I live walking distance from a brewery. I'll drink myself to death.
Yeah. That
All
seems
right.
real slow doing it with beer, though.
Yeah, I don't know. They've got some high ABV ones.
Oh, I recently fucked up at a friend's house. I had a driver for just a night where we were a friend wasn't gonna drink that went with me, and it was just a dude's rock kind of situation. We were hanging out, playing games, shit like that. So I was like, I'm gonna just have a couple of beers, real smooth night.
Did you
Well,
accidentally drink 15% alcohol beers?
so here's the thing. My buddy likes weird beers, like weird beers. And he has an entire fridge stocked with weird beers. So I was like, ooh, this one looks neat. This one looks neat. I
Always
had
check the ABV, man. I've
I
made that
did
mistake too
not
many
do that.
times.
I had 5 beers and was stumbling at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Completely obliterated.
Like the worst are the Christmas ales. You don't know how much alcohol they have in them unless you read the bottle or the can because they taste like a gingerbread cookie or some shit.
Are you talking
And
about
you
Mad Elf right now?
no, not just Mad Elf. There's also like
There's a bunch of them,
the
yeah.
one with the little gnome on it that's called Nice Choof. That's like a Belgian style Christmas ale. That one is like fucking 15% ABV. The bottles are those little stubby guys, and I still got fucking hammered off of 2 of them.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of, since you guys are both close enough, if you ever have the opportunity, especially around Christmas time, to get out to Bonesaw,
I was there
go.
the other day.
Hell yeah. Yo, Bonesaw's Christmas shit is exactly like what you're describing, Ryan.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, oh,
Oh,
there
and
are
if
all
you go to
these
the Bonesaw Brewery, they've got the barrel aged stuff that's also that fucking
Mhm.
strong.
Mhm.
Wait, why would I go to a place where Macho Man Randy Savage drops an elbow on me off a cage?
Because that sounds fucking
It sounds so
amazing.
cool. Love it when
Um,
that happens.
exactly. God damn. I would pay for that experience. Um, so we get another flash of Sarah laying on a couch recounting another encounter she has had in her life. It's not a nice story. I think this is the one where Yuri cuts her
Yeah.
like along the buttocks area. And then we cut to Ben drinking and driving again. I have to admit, again, this is one of those situations where it's telling a real sad story about the dangers of overconsumption of alcohol. But Nick Cage makes driving while drinking beers look so cool.
Dude has got so much on-screen charisma here.
It is wild. Um, he spots Sarah walking and stops to get out of his car to proposition her. Um, and she eventually agrees. And they get back
Well,
into
this is where she says, "You're not supposed to be drinking and driving."
what is his response again? Because he isn't he like, but
He
it's
like
fun.
laughs at her, like he pokes fun at her because she's clearly, a sex worker. And it's like pot calling a kettle black.
Yeah,
I don't remember the exact dialogue though. I just remember there was a good back and forth there.
but she eventually she agrees and gets back in the car with him almost to get him to stop loudly propositioning a sex
Yeah,
worker
yeah.
on a busy street that he like illegally parked on, I'm pretty sure. So they go back to Ben's motel room that he's rented, and there are liquor bottles on every single surface. It is crazy. His room is better stocked than some dive bars I've been in. And it's all like fucking well liquored too. It's not like high end shit.
It's
I'm
rot
assuming,
gut.
yeah. I'm assuming because they didn't want to pay licensing fees, but
Oh no.
still, I've been at bars where they're like, we can't make that drink. Um, um, so Sarah comes out of the bathroom and lists what she gives Ben the menu. This is what you can get for $500. Um, she starts to go down on him while he sings some sort of nonsense song. And he kind of stops her, and he doesn't seem to want to go forward with the sex that he is paying for. He explains he'll pay her, but he just wants her to hang out. So she does. And they get drunk and talk. And Ben confesses that he came to Vegas to drink himself to death. So Sarah's actually a little intrigued. She's like, so how do you think that's going to go? And Ben predicts, well, it'll probably take him about 4 weeks or so to manage this. And he thinks he can pull it off. So Sarah actually stays after Ben has run out of time based on what he paid, but she asks him to keep talking, so he does. He tells her about LA, and she also talks about having lived in LA. And she falls asleep on his chest as he passes out from the booze. Um, so she wakes up the next morning and rushes out and goes to see Yuri, who is very upset with the amount of money that she has brought back, and slaps her. She pulls a knife on him, which backs him off for a second, but then hands it to him, turns around, pulls up her dress, and tells him to go ahead. And we get flashbacks again to him cutting the backs of her thighs with a switchblade. Again, it's not going to get less dark from here.
No, it
Yeah.
gets so much worse.
It gets a lot worse in a lot of ways. So we cut back to Sarah talking about times that Yuri has cut her in the past. Um, and then we see Yuri in a pawn shop trying to offload some jewelry when Ben walks in, looking to sell his watch. He takes, so I meant to look this up and I did not, but Rich, you might know. I don't know why I think you might know, but you might know. So he takes $500 for a 93 Rolex Daytona. I think the point is that is wildly, wildly too little money to take for
That's
that
what I'm
watch.
For a
guessing.
Rolex, definitely.
I'm guessing
But
it's
I
probably a
did
ten
not
thousand
look it
dollar.
up.
I didn't look it up, but I'll bet you it's
Like
like a $10,000 watch.
that sounds right.
That
I
like, and the point is,
Holy shit!
Is it like 50 grand?
Uh,
Holy shit! Oh my god!
I'm not looking it up. What is the cost of this thing?
It's like $500,000.
So I'm sorry. I didn't even get to see the 93. I'm just seeing Daytonas listed, Rolex Daytonas.
Like
Uh,
the low end is like 50 grand.
yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Holy shit. That's fucking crazy. All right, depending on the model, it's like a $50,000 watch.
It could be as high as a $500,000 watch if it's one of these like limited joints that I'm seeing here.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking watch people, man.
That's so fucking insane.
I never understood watch people. You just tell the time. Get yourself a sundial,
Get yourself in anything.
Don't give a shit about the time when it's dark out. It's the way to
Don't
live.
get me wrong. Like I like a watch that looks nice, not that is nice.
Yeah.
But looks nice. Um, but this is fucking insane. This watch does not look wild in any way, shape, or form that I'm looking at right now. A 93 Rolex Daytona, and it is $55,892.
Steal at $500.
That's fucking crazy.
But also
Crazy.
he also like completely fucks over the other guy too. He's trying to get 3 grand for like a ring.
And the guy's like, "Yeah, I'll give you dog shit for this."
Yeah.
No, that's great. I knew a guy who was um actually the guy who taught me how to shoot guns. He loved guns, technology, and fucking Rolexes. This guy apparently had a collection of Rolexes, and whenever he wanted a new one, he just sold one of his old ones. And I was like,
I mean,
that's
that's the way to
nuts,
do
man.
it, though. Like, I know people that are like that with guitars. If they want a new guitar, they sell an old guitar.
Well, you know the
Yeah.
three G's of investment, right?
Gold guitars and
Guns.
guns.
Golds, guitars, and guns
All
tend
right.
to appreciate in value. Um,
Huh.
Go figure.
I'm
But
just
yeah,
waiting for
that's
that gold price to bottom out once everybody realizes like what does this stuff do again? Guitars I get, it makes cool noises.
It
Guns I
does.
get,
Those noises
it
are
does
so
cool
cool
things.
sometimes.
Gold just sits there and is shiny and has no practical purpose.
God damn it. Now I'm just looking at Rolexes. This is
All right, get
not
back on track. Back on
yeah,
track.
yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're grounding me. I appreciate that. So, um, Sarah goes to try and work a casino bar. Unfortunately, the guy she was working over was not interested in hiring a hooker. And I gotta admit,
Unfortunately, it's Arlie Ermy.
yeah. To speak in his defense, he is having what appears to be the most normal bar conversation with a person. And then she's like, "Hey, do you want to go to your room?" And he's like, "Are you fucking crazy? I'm married. This is ridiculous." Um, and that's when the bartender's like, yeah, why don't you go try somewhere else? So we get another confessional scene with Sarah talking about having had feelings for Ben after initially meeting him and that she probably shouldn't see him again. But after she gets kicked out of the hotel bar, she goes looking for him and finds him drinking a martini on a bench, which is a scene I do like.
Yes.
He has got a full on real martini glass and he's just on a bench on a like on a sidewalk. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
and is that what she's just like? Where's your car? I sold it.
I think oh yeah, he
Did
does
he
say
sell
that,
it
right?
for a
Yeah.
martini?
I hope so.
So Ben asks to take her to dinner. But Sarah hails a cab and says she can't have dinner with him. And she gets in the cab as he's talking. He's like, "No, I'm talking about good shit, like prime rib." And I honestly, I think this is a good place to stop
Yeah, this is
for
the most
several
hopeful the
reasons.
movie gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get a big
Yeah.
to tease, so you listen to the next episode. We get a big shift in the dynamic with Sarah right after this. And yeah, as Rich so succinctly put it, it gets so much worse from here on out. It's fucking bad.
It gets worse for everyone. Nobody gets out of this movie like good.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know
nobody
what?
gets out unscathed.
Now that I'm thinking about it, one thing that this movie does kind of geniusly is it juxtaposes like the when we've all had this experience, I'm assuming, where you're drunk and you're having a great time, right? Things are going great. There's that point in the night where you've hit the exact right chemical mixture and you're having a great time. And then the part that you only remember the next morning is within the next hour or two, something is going to go really wrong that you need to feel guilty about the next day. And you're only going to piece it together around 11 or 12 after you've woken up with a terrible headache. This
Yep.
movie does that pretty much from here on out, where you get some highs with them and then you get fully shoved in your face the lows and why this is not a way to live your life. So, I know that's not a ringing endorsement for part two, but
But like stick around.
stick around for the it's a train crash, baby. You
Look,
can't look
art
away.
isn't always fun. Sometimes
No.
it's just depressing.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean? I'm not supposed to like and agree morally with every single main character in a story?
No, not
Sounds like some
everything needs to
boomer
be
shit.
taught to you didactically.
I don't know when we lost that. I also am not entirely
Like
sure.
fucking 20 years ago, whenever they started the MCU and people decided that those were the only movies they would ever watch other than fucking Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and Stars War.
Whereas, like, those are fun to dissect when you really get into it too.
They
Like,
are
most of
fun,
those main characters are awful people.
but we also stopped making like original movies in mass. It used to be you could go to a movie theater and like one or two movies would be the big blockbuster franchise bullshit, and most of it would be like domestic dramas or political thrillers. We just don't have that
No,
anymore, really.
everything
It's getting
like
squeezed out
everything is
for
getting
sure.
to a point where they're trying to make everything into a franchise. And now it's like you have so many remakes.
Like, we don't even get
So
throwaway rom-coms anymore, really.
Well, that I'm not really mad
Yeah,
at.
it doesn't make me mad, but it's a worse environment for filmmaking when we don't have a wide variety of types of movies coming out.
I know it's getting squeezed out and everything is funneling into this money making scheme. We need more fucking the producer style schemes, but where you actually put out the movie and it's a bomb. Like
Yeah,
we're not getting the Wile E. Coyote film and they're just gonna
because
burn it.
they're just gonna burn it and take the tax credits. You have to release your fucking movie to get those tax
It
credits, I
has to
think.
fucking bomb. That should be the. I will vote 100%
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
next politician who's like,
So
listen, you have to put out the movie if you want the tax credits. It actually does have to do bad, you piece of shit.
like I want to see how bad that Batgirl movie was that they
I
shelved. I need
know.
to know.
You're
so
not allowed
here
to
is a
lock that
list
shit
of
up.
here's a list of movies that are currently out.
Okay, Driveway Dolls whips ass if that's on there. Definitely
Well,
watch that one.
so all I did was I went to AMC.
Yeah.
So we have Kung Fu Panda 4,
Okay. Sequel.
Dune Part 2,
Sequel. Bad
Yeah.
sequel. Bad sequel by a bad man.
Imaginary.
Is
I don't know what that is.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's with
Is
Teddy
it Five
Bear.
Nights at Freddy's with Teddy Bear? Okay.
Love,
Oh, no. That's just a Child's Play ripoff.
okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's just fucking Chucky, baby. I'm gonna watch that one.
Love Lies
Yeah, I'll
Bleeding.
watch it.
Can't wait for that. I'm actually super stoked to check out the lesbian bodybuilder crime drama. I'm
the
so
Bob
That
Marley
sounds
biopic.
amazing. That's
I'm
such a
so-
great fucking.
I'm so fucking excited for that
That's
movie.
such
It's
a good
crazy.
pitch, Ryan.
Yeah.
So then we have the Bob Marley biopic, which I will not be
They
watching.
always pop out biopics. That's something that's never gonna die. Like that's just a genre of movie we're gonna have to suffer through for the rest of our life. I think
Yeah.
there's an Amy Winehouse one coming out too that I saw a trailer for that
Ugh.
looked god
Something
awful.
something called the American Society of Magical Negroes.
Looks awful. I don't know who
Oh,
that movie was made for. It looks like it was made for white audiences, but it's definitely too black of a movie. Like it
Ordinary
does not have an
Angels,
audience. I don't know
which
what that is.
I don't know what that is.
wait, what's it called?
Ordinary Angels.
Nope, no
Uh,
idea.
One Life, which looks like another like biopic of somebody. Conspiracy. Oh, Christspiracy.
Is that a Kevin Sorbo movie?
No, it looks like a Joaquin Phoenix thing.
You know, this
From
is actually a
Really?
wider variety of movies than I thought were
Yeah, this
out at
kind
the
of is like
moment. This is kind of
demolishing
Oh
the
no,
point we were making.
don't worry. Here it comes because now we got Wonka,
uh-huh.
Madame Web,
I
No.
actually want to see that. It looks so
Yeah, I want
fucking
to see
bad.
that
It's good.
fucking train wreck,
It
baby.
morbs up real hard.
and
Yeah.
Cabrini.
What's
Is that
Cabrini?
It's
a
the fucking
Candyman
it
sequel?
no, it's the fucking nun Saint Cabrini.
Oh, it's not about Cabrini Greens, the
But it
fucking
was
slums
released.
that Candyman's set in.
No. I think it's Girl Boss bait because it was even released. It doesn't even say the date. It says coming International Women's Day. So
Oh, okay. That's still like a
Huh.
wider variety than I thought. Like
oh, and then
I
this
didn't
movie Arthur the
did not know
King
Love
about a
Lies.
dog and Mark Wahlberg. I don't know
That
what that
looks
is.
so bad. That's the kind of schlock I think they should be like pumping out, honestly, because that's like mom fodder. It's about a dude that is doing a cross country bike trip or like a fucking it's like an actual race, and he finds a dog, and the dog like helps him find good paths. My mom's gonna love
Wait,
that
you
movie.
can pick your own path on a race? I thought it was pre-described.
It's like a cross country type deal.
Like around the world in 80 days is like
Yeah,
however you can do it.
it's
Yeah,
rat race.
it's how about to say it's like Rat Race
It's
World
like rat
rules.
race. It's Cannonball Run.
Hey, I'd like another Mad World. I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. Give me a sequel to that. God, the kick the bucket bit, and that gets me every fucking time. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's gonna do it for us this time. Please tune in next time where we'll make you even more sad.
Wait, we gotta
Uh
like give them the stuff.
no, I
Oh,
know
okay.
if
Sorry, it
you're
sounded like it
if
sounded like your wrap up.
yeah, no, I just shut off the mic right after that. If the wait is too interminable for you, you can find us on social media at cagefight_pod on X for as long as that lasts. I think Blue Sky is now open without invite, so we'll make one over there for eventually. When Congress targets X after they finish banning TikTok, that's where we'll go. We do also have a Patreon. Rich can give you the deets on the Patreon.
Patreon.com/Nick Cage Fight. Give us $1, you get free, not free episodes or $1. You get episodes without
After
ads.
$1, it's free.
Yeah.
It's maximizing your money.
What I meant to say was ad-free episodes.
Ad free, free after $1 is this. There's a ton of solid financial reasons to do this.
Yeah, and hey, I am really unemployed right now, so give me that money. Give me that cheddar.
For just $1 a month, you can get rich a cup of coffee. It's I don't you can't even get $1 cup
It's
of
a
coffee.
get
No.
rich coffee scheme.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get a coffee sponsor. That's the next thing we got
Yo,
to do.
chock full of nuts, hit us up. I love your shit.
Yo, that's my parents drank that. I
That's
don't
my
know
go-to.
anybody else who drinks that. You drink that?
Fuck yeah, I do.
I didn't hate it. I'm not even clowning on the brand. It's
No,
just
their dark roast whips ass.
I only know old people who are like chock full of nuts. I don't fuck with any other
Their
coffee.
chock full of nuts used to be the Starbucks. There used to be fucking chock full of nuts shops where you would just go and get coffee.
Bring back stores
In
named chock
fact,
full of nuts.
in the film Escape from New York with Kurt Russell, one of the places he hides in while hiding from the sewer dudes in like the opening scene or the first scene where he's actually in New York is a chock full of nuts coffee shop.
Oh,
I did not know they had brick and mortar stores.
They did have brick and mortar
I thought
stores.
they just had tin cans at the grocery store. Amazing. Good to know. It's wild. All right, yeah. So also, if you're a drunk uncle, you can find us on Facebook. No further instruction needed there. You'll find us.
Yeah, we
Um,
exist.
Yep, absolutely. I know because we constantly get messages, scams saying we're gonna shut down your page for violating this thing here at Shady Link. So the uncles are doing their business. You can continue to find us, uncles. We appreciate you.
Thanks,
Text
uncles.
us thinking we're Nick Cage. We always respond, asking for money to help us with tax problems. But that's gonna do it for us this time. Join us next time where we wrap up Leaving Las Vegas. Thanks as always for spending your time with us, and please remember, dear listeners, we appreciate you.